In this video, you'll learn how to set up field crews and enter time cards for crews. Field crews are groups of employees and equipment items that can be assigned to logical scopes of work. For example, you might assign a concrete crew to the foundation cost codes, or a framing crew to the carpentry cost codes. You'll need to set up crews in the HR module before you can track crew time on a project. The steps you see when working with crews vary slightly, based on whether you've selected to use field crews in settings. So let's check out that area. Go to Settings, Feature Settings, Time and Expenses. Next to, do you wish to establish field crews for time cards? Regardless of the setting you choose, you can enter crew time cards. If you select Yes for this option, when your team enters crew time cards, they'll need to select the crew leader for their crew, and the system displays all crew resources for that crew. If you select No for this setting, you won't have the option of selecting a crew leader. Instead, you'll need to add each employee and equipment resource individually to the crew time card each time you create a new time card. This is much less efficient unless your crews vary widely from day to day. From the HR Overview page, next to Field Crew, click the Actions button and select Add Manually. The crew leader must already be set up as an employee of your company. This selection is required, and a given employee can only be the leader of a single crew at a time. If an employee has already been assigned to lead a different crew, you won't be able to select them here. Click Add and Next, and select the check boxes next to all of the employees who should form part of the crew. Click Add and Next again, and select the check boxes next to all equipment resources to be included in the crew. Click Add and Finish, and you're taken to the Field Crew Details page. This shows you the lists of employees and equipment. If you need to add additional crew resources, click Import, or click Delete next to a resource to remove it from a crew. Now let's walk through how to enter a crew time card. Let's access time cards through the project homepage this time. Click Time and Expenses. Next to Labor Time Cards, click the Actions button and select Add Crew Time Cards. The project is already selected since we initiated the time card from the project. Select a prime contract, and if you set field crews to Yes in Settings, you'll have the option to select a crew leader. Otherwise, you'll see your company selected here, and you won't be able to select employees from any company other than your own. Click Next. If approved change orders exist for the prime contract you selected, you'll see a drop-down for change order. Select the change order if one applies. If you want to create entries only for the employees assigned to the crew but not the equipment, clear the Create Equipment Time Card checkbox. When you enter crew time cards, you can choose to send quantities directly to the daily log, so the same entry is made in both places. If you want to automatically create a daily log entry based on quantities you enter for this time card, leave Create Daily Log selected. Note that you can make up to 5 entries per time card. The job cost code and payroll item are required for each entry. For each entry, you can enter comments, select labor and workers' compensation codes, and enter the hours worked by the crew for the day. Just as with labor time cards, you can only select labor codes that have been set up with project-specific pay rates for this project. If you select a labor code, those pay rates are used for this time entry. If you don't select a labor code, the system looks to the standard or project-specific payroll rates on the employee to determine the rate to use for this entry. Below the entry columns, you'll see lists of all labor and equipment resources assigned to the crew. If additional employees or equipment worked with the crew for the time you're entering, You can scroll down and click Add Employees or Add Equipment to add those resources. In the Crew Equipment section, for each entry column, you can enter runtime, idle time, and downtime hours. For each piece of equipment, the entries for one day should add up to the setting for typical work days and hours you established for the equipment item. For example, if the daily operating hours for the equipment is 8, the run, idle, and downtime hours should add up to 8 for each time entry. In the Daily Log Activities section, the job cost code is selected for you, and the unit of measure is taken from the job cost code. Enter the installed quantity, or the number of units the crew completed for this day. This quantity will be sent to the day's daily log. Enter weather and site conditions to create those entries automatically as well. Click Add and Close. Individual time cards are created for each employee and equipment resource you included in the time card. They'll be in pending status. Administrators and financial administrators can approve time cards in the HR module by clicking Actions, Approve Time Cards. Select the time cards to approve, and then click Choose Bulk Action. Select Approve Time Cards, and click Save. Note that the equipment time cards generated from the crew time card are automatically approved, so you don't need to take further steps. In this video, you learned how to set up field crews and enter time cards for crews.